See him holding it up, see a text message screen, kids are on the bus, he's turning around talking about kids. Cell phone's still up.
Investigators dropped 3 bombshells in a preliminary hearing for the Woodmore bus driver. The news starts now.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 6 in HD.
There was new information released in the case against the Woodmore bus driver, Jonathan Walker. The case was bound over to the grand jury. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. Investigators say he was driving between 50 and 52 miles an hour in a 30-mile-per-hour speed zone at the time of the crash that killed 6 children on Tally Road. Parents of some of those children were in court today during Walker's preliminary hearing. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Kelly McCarthy tells us 3 key facts were released from investigators. Kelly.
Cindy, while the investigation into the crash is still not complete, a judge decided the vehicular homicide charges against Jonathan Walker will move forward and go before a grand jury. Evidence of Walker speeding and using a cell phone while on the school bus were revealed today in court. Traffic investigators say video surveillance from the school bus shows the 24-year-old bus driver using his cell phone. Even if the bus isn't moving, investigator Joe Warren says it's still against the law.
Once the first child boards the bus, they are not allowed to be accessing the cell phone, using the cell phone, touching it. State law is pretty specific about cell phone usage when it comes to bus drivers.
3 different cameras on the bus helped investigators understand what led to the crash. Warren believes speeding was the main reason Walker lost control of the bus. The video surveillance was not showed in court.
It was very disturbing, okay? And I don't want to describe a whole lot.
Immediately after the crash, video shows Walker got out of the bus through the front windshield and tried to help students. Walker then refused to be interviewed by police. Investigator Adam Cavett says 4 children died at the crash scene on Tally Road. 2 children died in the hospital. He's now working to interview surviving students with trained child advocates.
Do you have to have parental permission to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And would it be fair to say that some of your investigation is still ongoing?
Yes, sir.
As each new detail was revealed in court, parents of the victims became emotional. An attorney representing one family says it's hard for them to hear certain facts of the case.
Could you imagine? I can't imagine. I cannot absolutely imagine. And it angers me that we have a school bus driver with a cell phone out, driving a bus. It angers me.
The mother of 6-year-old Demayan Brown says she will be at every court hearing and now wants Walker's bond to be changed to a higher amount.
In this case, I do find that the conduct of Mr. Walker did result in the death of these children, and therefore that will be bound over to the grand jury.
Walker is currently being held on more than a $100,000 bond. Investigators say they still have to review more than 1,400 pages of Walker's cell phone records and finish interviewing children on the bus before their investigation is complete. Live in the studio, Kelly McCarthy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Kelly. The Board of Education is meeting right now talking about the contract between Durham School Services, the company that hired Walker, and Hamilton County Schools. They are discussing whether or not to renew that contract. Board members won't decide tonight, but instead they will pick a later date. If they do decide to go with an independent company, the school system will lose 200 Durham buses. Before they had a contract with Durham, Hamilton County Schools was ultimately in charge of the bus system. We'll have the full story on the meeting tonight at 11. And we'll keep you up to date on the investigation at WRCBTV.com. And later in this newscast, we'll tell you how 2 of the victims are being honored.
And we're glad to report the last 2 children who were in the hospital have been released and are now in a rehabilitation facility. If you donated to the East Ridge Needy Child Fund in years past, the state controller is investigating whether the money ever made it to the charity. An audit was done after thousands of dollars showed up months after the money was collected.
The Needy Child Fund is a nonprofit in East Ridge where donations go towards buying Christmas for children in need. Last year, the East Ridge Fire Department operated Santa's Village at Camp Jordan, and that is where the state controller discovered $9,000 had been unaccounted for. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Kate Smith has more.
East Ridge Fire Chief Mike Williams was responsible for collecting donations and counting money from sales at Santa's Village. Investigators say he failed to deposit $9,442 in cash until 146 days after Santa's Village closed.
All the money is accounted for. I just saw a spreadsheet on the money. It's all accounted for.
A spokesperson for the city of East Ridge ensures all donors, their charitable donations went directly to children in need.
There was no reference to any kind of intentional wrongdoing on anybody's part in East Ridge, and that's what's important.
After an investigation of almost 2 years, the state comptroller discovered multiple deficiencies with the fund. The audit shows Fire Chief Mike Williams deposited checks but didn't deposit the cash until May, almost 5 months after Santa's Village closed. The chief claims he forgot the cash was locked in a safe within his city-issued vehicle.
He just made a mistake.
For like 4 or 5 months?
He just forgot that it was in there. It was in a locked safe in his car.
They also found problems with contracts, a lack of documentation for credit card transactions, and a failure to maintain inventory records for items purchased. A disappointing discovery for neighbors who donate each year.
That's horrible because it's for needy kids.
I think it's sad. It's really sad. I feel sorry for the kids.
The East Ridge City Manager and the City Council addressed the investigation. They created a new nonprofit along with a new board that will separate the Needy Child Fund from the city and its employees.
How the money's deposited, how it's collected, when you give it, how do you give out receipts, how do you keep accounting of those things. Those are all internal control issues that the city has already addressed.
They want multiple people involved in the process to reduce the chances of any future errors. Despite the state audit, over 50 children will receive gifts this holiday from the Needy Child Fund. Channel 3 reached out to Chief Williams for a comment. He has not returned our calls. In the studio, Kate Smith, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
An elderly man in Athens was beaten and robbed inside his own home. Athens police say a couple broke into a 77-year-old man's home at Nash Apartments Monday at about 6 in the evening. The victim told police they knocked on his door saying they were selling food, but instead they broke into his home and left with his money, his bank card, and Medicaid card. The two then cut the phone lines and left the scene. If you have any information on their whereabouts, call 744-2737, Athens Police Department.
The Sequatchie County Sheriff's Department arrested the man who's facing a voluntary manslaughter charge. John David Altenhoff was wanted for felony failure to appear on voluntary manslaughter. Officers say the suspect was taken into custody last night without incident. He's currently waiting to be transferred back to Sequatchie County.
Police in East Ridge say a Grinch is on the loose after 41 post office boxes were burglarized. The burglary victims reported the incident on December 10th at the East Ridge Post Office on Maxwell Road. The victims say their boxes were pried open and police found some of the contents of the boxes in waste baskets at the post office. Police also found thousands of dollars of checks that were discarded. Fingerprints were taken from a locker key found at the scene, but officials need your help to catch these perpetrators. If you have any information, call East Ridge Police.
In Georgia, pharmacists will now be able to give a drug used to reverse opioid overdoses to patients without a prescription. Governor Nathan Deal asked the State Department of Public Health to issue the order on the drug called naloxone. The drug was once on the state's most dangerous drug list, but Deal says because of the opioid crisis the state is facing, the overdose reversing drug is a must. The CDC says some 1,200 people overdosed from opioids in 2014 in the state of Georgia alone.
A dance competition will honor 2 girls killed in the Woodmore bus crash. It will happen this Saturday. Both of the girls were dancers. 10-year-old Ziana Harris danced with Ladies of Excellence, while her friend, 9-year-old Zoe Nash, danced with another local team, Royal Envy. The Ladies of Excellence dance team is holding the competition in the Rossville Athletic Center on William Street. Teams can register $25 to compete, and the public can attend for $10.
And coming up on Eyewitness News at 6, the UTC men's basketball team stepped away from the court for a little while today, brightening the day of Woodmore students.
You can't imagine what those kids, what those teachers, what that whole school community going through.
The Mocs presented the students with a special gift. Sports reporter Jill Jelnick tells us about it later in sports.
And a man wakes up to the sound of what he believes to be an intruder. He takes his gun, fires a shot, but quickly finds out he recognizes his shooting victim. We'll tell you why this story is raising some questions when we come back.
It's going to be a really cold night across the Tennessee Valley, but high temperatures warming up a little bit in the next couple of days. Some weekend rain ahead too. I'll have all the details in your 7-day forecast.
Here in Hamilton County, a man says he thought his wife was an intruder and he shot her in the ear.
Well, she and her husband told investigators the shooting was accidental. It happened near Georgetown Road. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Tim Pham looks into what protections people have to defend themselves.
Millions of Americans own firearms, some for recreation, others for protection. But while you might be locked and loaded, when can you legally shoot your gun at an intruder? An unwanted guest in your home can be frightening and dangerous for a homeowner. An Ottawa couple says it happened to them, but with a twist. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office says a man accidentally shot his wife, mistaking her for an intruder.
At some odd hour, the mere presence of someone that you didn't invite into your home, in my opinion, I think the law would reflect that you have the opportunity to defend yourself at that point.
Hamilton County District Attorney Neil Pinkston says if a person feels threatened by an intruder in the state of Tennessee, they're protected by self-defense law under justification for crimes.
You have a right to use force, up to deadly force, if you feel that your life's in danger or threatened or maybe a member of your family.
The shooting is still under investigation, but the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office does not expect to file charges. But Pinkston says if they did, they'd have a compelling argument for self-defense.
And it depends on what witnesses say, what evidence the police find. Did someone force entry? Where did they shoot? Where was the person, the intruder, at when they were shot? You know, all those things have to be evaluated.
First responders say the bullet grazed the woman's ear. She went to a local hospital and is expected to be okay. DA Neil Pinkston says in some cases you're also protected in your vehicle. He says it can be an extension of your home and self-defense law also applies. We'll update you on the accidental shooting as it becomes available. Reporting in the studio, Tim Pham, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And coming up next on the news at 6, the weather outside is frightful. If I felt better, I'd sing. Got a little throat crud.
You might do that.
You're lucky, folks. But it's been cold and frigid today, and now to add to it.
Well, we have a wet weekend ahead. Chief Meteorologist Paul Barris is off tonight. Nick Austin in for him to break it down for us.
Welcome back. It is going to be a cold night. Bring your pets. Let them stay indoors tonight in the heat. Leave those faucets on a really slow drip. That'll help too, so your pipes don't freeze. And open up those cabinet doors under your sinks too. Help that airflow going. That'll keep your pipes from freezing. So just a few little tips there as those temperatures start to dip into the teens outside of the city late tonight. It's 25 already in Nashville. It's cooling off fast. 28 in Knoxville, right here in Chattanooga. 32 degrees at the airport. It's 24 in Altamont, 27 in Athens, below freezing in Cleveland right now, and north winds at about 9 miles an hour, making temperatures feel like it's in the mid-20s or so. So we do have some of those high clouds streaming over the area, those high cirrus clouds, and we'll see those through the night. But generally high pressure, dry, cold air moving in out of the Ohio River Valley and the Midwest right here in the Tennessee Valley. And our next rainmaker is still way out in the Rockies right now. It'll bring us some rain as we head into the weekend, but tomorrow just partly cloudy. Southerly winds will help things warm up for the afternoon. Tomorrow's highs will be about 10 degrees warmer than today, give or take. And then scattered showers Friday night into Saturday off and on. Saturday night and Sunday morning, though, widespread rain. It'll be heavy at times. Temperatures falling during the day Sunday. So those of you just to our west watching us from along the Cumberland Plateau, Grundy County up to western Bledsoe County, during the day Sunday as temperatures fall, there'll still be some light precipitation, and it could be in the form of just very light snow, sleet, or freezing rain for a little while before everything fades during the afternoon. But weekend rain totals could be 1 inch to 1.5 inches, maybe some isolated spots of 2 inches. We could use it, still have a big rain deficit, and the drought has been improving, but we still do have a drought. So our deficit for the year is still at 16.25 inches. 28 the low today, high was only 38, 14 degrees below our normal high for this time of the year, and it's the coldest high temperature since we hit only 39 degrees back on February 13th. So really kind of bone chilling cold out there. 35 Trenton the high today, 35 Dalton, Chatsworth 36, 37 out in Scottsboro, while Saudi Daisy hit 35 for Al up there, 35 in Dunlap, 38 Lakeside, up in Delano around 35. It was 34 up in Pikeville today, while Dayton and Athens only hit 37 for each of those spots, and 34 out in Murphy. Lowest out in Jasper had 38. Bundle up tonight if you have evening plans. 22 with some clouds, teens outside of the city, warming up to 46 for tomorrow, breezy and partly cloudy. And then some rain showers off and on late tomorrow night and off and on through the day Saturday. We'll have just occasional showers Saturday, but look at the high at 61, but only low 40s on Sunday. It'll be very, very rainy Sunday morning, so you need your umbrellas this weekend.
Thank you very much, Nick.
You bet.
And coming up in sports, the race is on to replace Russ Huesman.
Hey, it's going quickly. The interview process is already underway, and Paul Shaheen's been working those phones. What have you found out,
We've
Paul?
all been working the phone lines. Yeah, I found out one interview so far, at least. 2 more planned for tomorrow. Some in-house, some out-of-house names, too. We'll hit all of that, plus Huesman's final press conference at UTC. The reason why he left and who he's taking with him. Catch it next in sports.
the hardest phone call I made was to Dr. Angle when I decided to take the Richmond job. I mean,
An emotional Russ Huesman held his final press conference at Chattanooga today. And that was Huesman going over the phone call he had to make to UTC Chancellor Steve Angle. A lot of reasons led to Huesman leaving for Richmond. This is one of them.
in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking, you know, I need a new challenge. I'm 56 and been here 8 years. I don't want to be stale. I don't want my football team to be stale. I want new challenges, and you know, I could have stayed here the rest of my life and been extremely happy.
Huesman went on to say he is not taking any of his incoming recruits with him to Richmond. He plans to know by week's end which assistants are going with him. One source tells me he is taking defensive coordinator Adam Braithwaite, who's been with UTC for 5 seasons, 4 as defensive coordinator. Tonight at 11, Huesman relives some of his favorite memories over his tenure in Chattanooga. In the meantime, the search continues to find Huesman's replacement. Per multiple sources, the Mocs will interview current UTC linebackers coach Rusty White tomorrow at 11 a.m. They also plan to interview current offensive coordinator Jeff Durden tomorrow. Durden interviewed today at Lafayette College in eastern Pennsylvania out of the Patriot League. I'm also told Charleston Southern's Jamie Chadwell, up-and-comer, has already interviewed, and it went well. On the hardwood now, the Chattanooga Mocs followed up a win on the court with a win in the community, specifically the Woodmore community. Our very own Jill Jelnick has more live in the studio.
Paul, since the Woodmore bus tragedy, the Mocs have been looking for ways to give back to the students. Today, they were able to give them a gift that will hopefully keep on giving.
2, 3.
Head coach Matt McCall's senior forward Justin Toyo and a couple other Mocs made a guest appearance during their school assembly today, and afterwards the Mocs presented them with that big voucher for 6 free tickets to every student for any men's or women's basketball game.
From Woodmore to the things that transpired, you know, last year to the fire, we've been through a lot, and again, you know, what we do is a game, and we take it very, very serious. But at the end of the day, if we're able to put smiles on kids' faces that have been through a lot more than we have, then, you know, I think that's important.
The Mocs will now hit the road to take on Vanderbilt this Saturday, 8:30 tip-off. Paul, back to you.
Thanks, Jill. And quickly back to college football. Next year's Georgia roster got a big boost today, and it is not from recruiting. Both junior running backs Nick Chubb and Sony Michel say they will return for their senior seasons in Athens. On the defensive side, linebackers Lorenzo Carter and Davin Bellamy say they will also return. That's a big boost on defense as well. Maybe a nod to first-year head coach Kirby Smart. Had a tough year this year, but those are 4 very good players that you want on that roster next year.
Definitely, that's a big step up for Kirby Smart. That helps make next year a little more positive after what they've dealt with this year.
Chubb entered this season as a Heisman finalist. Odds are he'll do the same next year.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Paul.
And now we check in with Nick.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo. I didn't wear any red. Sorry.
Get off the set.
Maybe I will tomorrow.
I like your tie, though.
Well, thank you very much.
I do too.
Y'all look fabulous, too. We'll take a look at the quick evening out forecast. It's chilly out there, folks. Layer up if you're heading out this evening. It'll be below freezing for most of the evening, down in the 20s by midnight. Occasional clouds here and there. But it'll get warmer the next couple of days. 46 tomorrow, a little breezy. 61 with occasional showers on Saturday. Really rainy Saturday night and the first half of Sunday. And temperatures will be falling all day Sunday. So you need to bundle up for the second half of the weekend. Have your umbrellas handy.
Yeah, brace yourself. Yeah. Thank you, Nick. Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 6.
For more holiday spirit and Nick Austin, tune in tonight at 11. We'll see you then.